My name is Francisco Goya. I was born on March 30th, 1746, and died April 15th, 1828, at the age of 82. I married my wife, Josefa Bayou, in 1773. We only had one male child that lived into adulthood. I became a court painter for the Spanish court during the year of 1786. In 1793, I was struck with a sickness that left me deaf. Most historians agree that the paints I was using caused this sickness. My wife, Josefa, passed away in 1812, and in 1819, I bought a country home just outside of Madrid, Spain. This is where I quietly resided until 1824. In 1824, I moved to Bordeaux, France with my companion, Leocadia, and her daughter. I lived in Bordeaux, France until my death in 1828. The country home I bought in 1819 was located outside of Madrid, Spain, and across the river Manzanares. This one-story country home was left in the care and control of family when I moved to Bordeaux in 1824, though this property was sold in 1873 to a French banker of German origin. This banker was Baron Frederick Emile Delanger, who was well known for investing in railroads throughout the world. Within the United States of America, he made many railroad investments. In 1889, he began a grant program with his American wife, Marguerite Mathilde Slidell, called the Delanger Grant. This grant was used for startup capital to build a hospital in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is known today as Delanger Health System. The town of Delanger itself in Kentucky was also named in honor of the Delanger's financial contributions. Between the years of 1819 and 1824 in my country home in Spain, I painted 14 paintings directly onto the walls within 2 rooms. These paintings were given the name the Black Paintings by those that cared, and restored them in the years after my death in 1828. The Baron Delanger commissioned copies to be made on canvas between the years of 1874 to 1878, and it was a Spanish painter that specialized in art restoration by the name of Salvador Martinez Cubels, who supervised the painting of these canvas copies. There were a few people that made various copies of these paintings of mine. The first article published about these paintings was written by a man named Gregorio Cruzada Villamil in 1868. During this time, he commissioned etchings to be created by a painter named Gimeno, who finished 3 of them before he passed away himself. There was even a man named P.L. Imbert who published a verbal description of my paintings in 1875. Though it was specifically the Baron's commissioned canvas copies that were displayed at the Great Exhibition in Paris in 1878. 3 years later, in 1881, the Baron gave these copies to the Spanish government, where they then made their way to the Prado Museum in Madrid, Spain, and still reside today. My country home, sadly, unfortunately, was demolished in 1909. The ground floor room that housed 7 of my wall paintings was called the Quinta del Sordo. This room was the salon room on the ground floor, and whoever journeyed to my home would view these paintings the most. The other room that contained wall paintings was on the first floor, or as you would call it today, the second floor. In my time, we called it the first floor. But I digress. The second room didn't have a name. Probably due to the fact that the least amount of people seen these paintings when I lived there. But they were good too. The 7th painting located within the ground floor was on a window or door lintel. This painting is the most controversial of the bunch. It's debated to not have existed within my country home at all, as well as where the painting was located in the Quinta del Sordo room. There's not enough evidence to determine which lintel this painting resided on, though a Spanish photographer by the name of Juan Laurent took photographs of these paintings sometime in the mid-1800s before his death in 1886, probably sometime in the 1860s. There are still 4 photographs and 9 negatives that exist within the Witt photograph collection housed at the Courtauld Institute in London, England. There's a publication by a Francisco Zapater y Gomez in 1860 that contained even more photographs than the 4 in the Witt collection. It's within this publication one can find the mysterious 2 men eating painting. An editor and a publisher by the name of Saturnino Calleja reprinted this 1860 publication by Gomez in 1924. These publications will prove this painting indeed existed and was painted within my country home in Spain. This 7th ground floor wall painting within my country home was in situ on a lintel within the Quinta del Sordo room. Though, what will never be known for sure is which lintel did it reside on. Was the painting titled 2 Men Eating painted on a lintel above a window or a door on a lintel? Only I and others that were within my country home before its egregious demolition in 1909 will ever know for sure. I will leave that debate open for argument. With the demolition of my country home on the west side of the river Manzanares, the works I painted directly on the walls ceased to exist and are lost to the passage of time. Though we do have some reproductions available, along with some photographs. When it comes to reproductions, we have the 3 plates created for etchings by Eduardo Gamino, which was commissioned by Cruzada Villamil. Cruzada published these etchings along with his detailed description of the wall paintings in a publication titled El Art en España in December of 1868. The plates by Gamino are Saturn, Promenade of the Holy Office, and Men Reading. We also have the woodcut by C. Morand of the wall painting titled Men Reading. This print created by this woodcut was used in a publication by Charles Iriart in 1867, which included a description of the wall paintings as well. Iriart also published a pamphlet including this print that listed art which he predicted will vanish with the passage of time. We have descriptions of the wall paintings published along with the photographs by Juan Laurent, though Laurent Mathurin's Essai de Catalogue was the first book published about Goya in 1858, and this publication spoke of the wall paintings as well, though Mathurin's book doesn't contain any pictures of the wall paintings. There were also photographs created for Monsieur Rodolphe Gaumont between the years of 1863 to early 1867 of the wall paintings, in which the negatives used for said photos may have been created by Juan Laurent, though Charles Iriart had access to these photos. There was a publication created in 1860 by a Francisco Zapater y Gomez that listed a very immense collection of Goya's works, and within this publication is 9 photographs of the original wall paintings from Goya's Spanish home. These wall paintings included in the publication are as follows: Saturn, Men Reading, 2 young people and a man, Duel with Cudgels, Dog, 2 monks, Judith, 2 men eating, San Isidoro, Atropos. I realized the listed titles in this 1860 publication is 10 when I stated there were only 9. There's a mystery surrounding the exact number of photographs of wall paintings within this publication, for the republication of the article in 1924 by the editor Saturnino Collegia. This book, republished by Saturnino and the original article in 1860 by Gomez, may be getting confused and messed up together, or there's a mistake somewhere in the annals of history. Unfortunately, the original 1860 article can't be found, only the reproduction, published in the Collegia book in 1924. The Baron's commissioned canvas copies are the most viewed reproductions. Salvador Martinez Cubells, at the time of the creation of the reproductions in 1874 to 1878, was the curator of the Prado Museum in Madrid, Spain. He was the one that oversaw the reproduction of my wall paintings to canvas, and all finished canvas paintings had to be approved by him. Other than these reproductions mentioned in this list, and a few other verbal descriptions with no pictures of the paintings, are all that is available. Also, I might add that there's some documentation of a man named Ruiz Vernacci in Madrid having within his possession 3 glass negatives of photographs produced by Juan Laurent. These 3 negatives are of the wall paintings titled Leocadia, Asmodea, and the Holy Office. The only other painting reproduction available, though the artist is unknown, is a photo by Juan Laurent of one watercolor reproduction of Leocadia. Now I will speak in more detail about my ground floor paintings and some differences between the originals that I painted myself on my walls and the canvas copies. There's further differences in each that can be debated. What I'm going to mention here are a few. First of all, these paintings are to be viewed or read from left to right around the room. All canvas copies do not include the framing treatment I gave to each wall painting within my country home. The ground floor paintings were given a more complex double framing than the upper floor, and both floors had their frames painted directly on the walls, similar to borders. All of the copies spoken about in what I'm about to list are the copies commissioned by the Baron and given to the Spanish government, which were later housed at the Prado Museum in Spain. Some paintings have more than one known title, which I will include. First, we have Donna Leocadia, otherwise known as La Manola, an original wall painting that has pom-poms on the lady's shoes. There could also be another 8 points of differences that could be debated regarding this painting. Next, we have Witch's Sabbath, also known as Aquilare. Juan Laurent made 2 overlapping photographs of this painting, and it was reproduced by Collegia in 1924, which he titled First and Second Fragment. In the restored canvas copy at the Prado Museum, the restorer radically cut down the painting. This copy eliminated a dark, mysterious area to the right of the girl in the chair. By doing this, Salvador Martinez Cubells concentrates the whole picture around the coven itself, and it now simplifies the composition. Even viewing the photographs taken by Laurent, all details in this omitted area are hard to decipher. Whatever was within this omitted space that can't be distinguished on the aged photographs by Juan Laurent is lost forever. Next up is Saturn. There's differences in the left knee and genitals of Saturn. There are many aspects of the knee lost in the canvas copy, and the genitals are displayed different than what I had painted originally. And then we have Judith and Holofernes. There are noticeable changes in the techniques used in painting the canvas copy. There was no real attempt to mimic my style when they were making this copy. Number 5, we have La Romeria San Isidoro, or Festival of San Isidoro. The most debated aspect of this painting is the horizon line. This landscape was viewed not far from my home and on the other side of the river Manzanares. What's debated is everything from what a viewer could see along the horizon line during the time period I painted this picture to the time of day I recorded within the picture. The amount and type of natural light recorded within the painting was debated as well. For number 6, we have De Frailes Viejos, or Two Monks. There were some aspects the restorer had to improvise for, such as folds in the cape under the monk's arm. This was due to a major crack in the wall, even viewable in the photographs taken by Juan Laurent. Also, coloring of the human features of the monk is debated. The bottom of the painting will also be debated forever. There's questions of omission of some details within the bottom of this painting that are said to have been visible in the hemline of the monk within the original wall painting. And lastly, for number 7, we have Two Men Eating. This last ground floor painting was one I mentioned earlier, and its main points of debate are the location in my home and if it even existed at all within my home. The following list will be of the upstairs paintings and some differences of the original wall paintings compared to the canvas copies. Just a reminder, these paintings were to be viewed or read from left to right around the room. The staircase to access the upper room was located in the salon, otherwise known as the Quinta del Sordo room. All the paintings in the upper room were not double bordered like the ones that were on the ground floor. The first of my upstairs paintings was Atropos, or The Fates. A photographic negative by Juan Laurent proves that a considerable amount of the top of the painting was cut out in the canvas copy. Some landscaping, such as trees, are different in the canvas copy, and some details of the fates themselves were omitted as well. And then next we have Duel with Cudgels. Calleja reproduced photographs from Juan Laurent's negatives in 1924, and there is a noticeably large crack in the wall through this painting. Salvador Martinez Cubels again cut down the canvas copy of this painting at the top. Also, details such as a coat of one of the men and human features are different in the canvas copy. The legs were meant to be viewed through the long grass in my original painting on the wall of my home, though the canvas copy in the Prado Museum does not include this. Moving on, we have Men Reading, another of Calleja's reproduced photographs in 1924 from Juan Laurent's negative collection of the prints from the original 1860 article. Laurent's photographs suggest in the mid-1800s there was damage to the wall where this painting was located in situ. There are facial emotional details changed in the canvas copy. As well, Cubels made one man look upwards in the canvas copy, which does not occur in the original wall painting. One of the 3 etchings created by Gimeno prior to his death was this painting, and it also changed humanistic and directional aspects. Maybe Cubels followed this etching by Gimeno for the creation of the canvas copy. This is a possibility. One basket, the one on the right, with cloth over or in it, is omitted from the canvas copy and the etching. The basket on the left, though, survived the copy. Some optical painting tricks that I was so proud of in the later half of the 1700s seem to be left out in the canvas copies. For number 4, we have 2 Young People and a Man. The photograph published by Calleja in 1924, created by Juan Laurent, opens a debate regarding this painting. Some argue the painting in the photograph is a canvas copy, though it's the time of day that the photograph was taken that creates a light effect, which makes one think that there's a possibility of canvas grain. No other negative displays canvas grain or any details a canvas painting would give in a photograph. Plus, this painting in College's book has a framed border like the other original wall paintings. They're only my wall paintings within Juan Laurent's photographs and negatives of my home in Spain. Perhaps the effect was created by a wash used in painting. Unfortunately, we'll never know because they demolished my home. Now, to bring up a couple further differences between the original and the canvas copies, there is also what is believed to have been a woman's hand on the man's shoulder at the far right of the picture that has been omitted in the canvas copy, along with the writing on the paper. My fifth upstairs wall painting was the Holy Office. This is another one of the 3 etchings produced by Gimeno in 1868 before his death, and it captures the wall cracks and flaking seen in the photographs and negatives of Juan Laurent. To improvise, Salvador Martinez Cubels inserted a rising pile of trees on the mountain slopes in the canvas copy to cover the wall damage. An artist by the name of Charles Morand, who made a woodcut of a wall painting for a book by Iriart created between 1832 and 1898, did not put in the damage either. He instead inserted trees on the hill in the middle distance as shown in the photograph, but left the mountain bare. Cubels also made distortions in the Inquisitor and the Old Hag in the canvas copy. Number 6, we have Asmodea, also known as Fantastic Vision, or To the Witch's Coven. For the canvas copy, some of the top right of the painting is omitted. There's also some differences in the buildings within the hill line, and there's a little loss in the shoulder straps of the soldiers, with the greatest loss being in the foothills. And for my final upstairs painting, titled Dog. In the canvas copies, there's a vague shadow figure of a possible man that's almost unreadable. Also, there's a lightened top section of the dog's ear that's omitted. This painting is suggested to not have been finished and was a work in progress at the time of my departure to France in 1824. There are many interesting aspects to discuss about my life and work. However, I think that's enough for one sitting. In closing, I would like to end this conversation with some thoughts from my only child, Javier. In the years after my death, my son did write about me from time to time. He expressed that I found it to be a pleasure painting on my walls, that they meant a lot to me, and I thoroughly enjoyed viewing these paintings daily in my home as I grew old. This video has been a collaboration piece between
History and Lee
and myself. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more future content like it, then please like and subscribe. If you want to support the channel further, a link has been provided in the description down below for the Dead Poets Clothing merch store. A special t-shirt has been added featuring the Saturn painting and a quote from Goya's son Javier within the Cult Classic collection. Thank you for watching.
See you in the next video.